Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star 2, Land of Origin based on novel. So let's start. Luo Feng gazed at the three entities from the primal chaos realm before him. As he had his epiphany about the great Tao of life, the enlightenment washed over the three of them collectively, allowing them to withstand bodies of the primal chaos realm, which was rather remarkable in itself. Of course, those transformed by external forces would likely find it challenging to progress further in their entire lifetime. You can be considered to have fate with me, Luo Feng nodded. You can choose to venture this world, or opt to follow me to the Blade River sect. I wish to follow the master to the Blade River sect, stated the woman transformed from a plant and the youth transformed from a bird without hesitation. Both had been conscious for some time, and understood the hardships exotic life forms endured in the land of origin. They knew how crucial it was to cling to a thick thigh for support. The elder transformed from the big tree hesitated before he spoke. Master, may I venture in the world for a while before joining you at the Blade River sect? Luo Feng knew that this big tree had just formed its consciousness during the transformation, and despite appearing to be an elder, it was actually the most naive. Granted, Luo Feng nodded. He then vanished into thin air with the woman and the youth, already departed. The elder from the big tree felt somewhat lost. Was his choice correct? This world. Full of curiosity, the elder had felt nothing but a vague instinct before his transformation, sensing only the passing tribes of creatures and the hunting of exotic beasts in his vicinity. Immediately filled with curiosity, the elder commenced his journey. At the headquarters of the Blade River sect, Morosa looked at Luo Feng and the woman and youth who suddenly appeared before him. Morosa, these two are the ones from the primal chaos realm that I have enlightened, commanded Luo Feng. From now on, they will be part of the Blade River sect. You will be responsible for teaching them enlightened lives. Morosa nodded, acknowledging that as a being at the peak of the second realm of Godly King, the master had the potential to create life forms of the primal chaos realm. Morosa suddenly looked at his master with shock. Master, you? Morosa was surprised, for Luo Feng usually concealed his strength whilst outside, being formless and intangible. But in Morosa's presence, he made no attempt to hide, allowing Morosa to clearly sense that his master had also attained great Tao perfection. At last, there's been a breakthrough, Luo Feng said smilingly. Congratulations, master, rejoice. Morosa was overjoyed. The master, with his exceptional talent, had created the life and death Tao ultimate secret method that surpassed Morosa, even without reaching the ultimate realm. With the assistance of a super-secret treasure, his strength was on par with the ancestors of two great nations. Now he had finally taken that step forward. It's but a small step, Luo Feng was in high spirits, yet he knew it wasn't significant. In just over 13 centuries since arriving at the land of origin, I've reached the ultimate realm. Morosa felt the master's terrifying rate of growth. In terms of the secret technique and spiritual will, the master was comprehensively surpassing him. As for Morosa, he had reached the limits of his growth and could progress no further. I am the strongest among the master's subordinates. I can manage the Blade River sect for the master and the Galaxy Divine Country. Morosa had the confidence, with his many avatars and formless and intangible nature. He was naturally well suited for the tasks. From today onwards, you can begin nurturing the destruction army, instructed Luo Feng, his current realm allowing such matters to be made public. Yes, Morosa complied immediately. The woman and youth beside him were somewhat bewildered. The destruction army. Although they had been conscious for a while, one was a plant rooted underground and the other a true god of void space level exotic beast. They had no idea what the destruction army entailed. Come with me, Morosa led the two away. Luo Feng walked within Huyang City. 3 enlightened primal chaos realm beings. 2 have chosen to join the Blade River sect. 1 has decided to roam the world. This is the spirituality of life, reflected Luo Feng. With strong spirituality, life is filled with infinite possibilities. It might even break free from the shelter of the supreme rules. The so-called braided cage was indeed a form of shelter. Luo Feng observed the myriad cultivators within the bustling Huyang city, each with their pursuits, with their own spiritual will. Life. At this moment, Luo Feng could become big or small and even hide within any life form in the heaven and earth, whether cultivators, unintelligent creatures, a blade of grass, or even a pebble. He could merge within them all. Even every memory of Luo Feng in the entire source world was a mark of life, which he could use to rapidly regenerate his body. Within the reach of the land of origin, I am the concept of life itself. As long as the world contains conditions conducive to nurturing life, with a wisp of energy, a bit of soil, I could be immortal, Luo Feng realized. He could slay Di Yuan, isolate cause and effect, and even slay the white demon. But killing a true ultimate realm being would exponentially increase in difficulty. And within the source continent, the life path at the ultimate realm was undying. Of course, this only applies to the conditions within the source continent. Luo Feng recognized this fact. My understanding of life is limited to the normal conditions of life within the source continent. As for the divine emperor level, as for the primordial bloodline, these are beyond my comprehension. The so-called Great Tao perfection, leaving no trace, isolating cause and effect, also has its limitations. Everyone has causality. After reaching the ultimate realm, perfected Great Tao can obscure and blur causality, making it difficult for enemies to probe. Even traces left in time and space are obscured. Methods within the braided cage cannot probe it. But methods that do leap out of the braided cage, of a higher tier, are clear and distinct. The eye of life and death in Luo Feng's brow opened. Under the gaze of the eye of life and death, not just the ultimate realm, even some causality and traces of the ancestors of 2 countries were visible to probe. Sigh. Luo Feng walked to the highest point of a pavilion within the city owner's mansion, where he sat alone. I grasp the Great Tao that exists within the source world. Next, what I need to do is grope in the dark and evolve the Great Tao within the source world into the Great Tao at the primordial level, integrating it with the higher level mysteries. Luo Feng understood this point. Every enlightened being groping in the dark yearns for this. To discover their own Great Tao at the primordial level. These materials from the ultimate realm primordial bloodline creatures. Luo Feng flipped his hand, looking at a fragmented piece of scale in front of him. I can penetrate their fundamental life compositions containing the 9 forms. But the matter that forms these 9 forms is beyond my comprehension. Because this matter originates from their primordial bloodline. It has transcended the scope of the Great Tao of life within the braided cage. If the Great Tao of life at the primordial level should exist, it would have a profound grasp of the scales and fur of primordial life, thought Luo Feng. At the ultimate realm of God King, you need to contemplate the 9 forms separately, then study matter, through the material Great Tao, and the combination of the 2 forms the final life form. However, in truth, all life's matter can also be attributed to the life Great Tao at the primordial level. The higher it goes, the more inclusive it becomes. The Great Tao at the primordial level is vast and boundless. Having observed the Star Tower, the Eye of Life and Death, 2 special life remnants, and the innate secret treasure palm world, Luo Feng realized just how immense the Great Tao at the primordial level was. At least, I've seen them, Luo Feng whispered quietly. Even while within Huyang City, Luo Feng could still observe all ultimate realm primordial bloodline creatures in the land of origin. These 9 creatures collectively possess 27 different forms. After Luo Feng contemplated 15 forms, he had a natural breakthrough, gaining a complete grasp of the Great Tao of life. After mastering the Great Tao, understanding these forms became much easier. More than a century passed, and the 27 forms of the 9 creatures were all fully comprehended. The 9 ultimate realm primordial bloodline creatures of the land of origin, each has its talents. 4 of them are weaker and can be ignored, the other 5 have their uses. Luo Feng's heart intentions stirred. By his side, an avatar stepped out, this one with silvery gray-scale armor, still bearing Luo Feng's appearance. The silvery gray-scale armor flickered. If there was an observer, they could see that across the past timeline, the present, and the future timeline, an avatar with silvery gray scales appeared. This avatar can be called Time Avatar, naturally existing simultaneously in the past, present, and future. Although I can use it, I do not comprehend its mysteries. After selecting the 5 ultimate realm primordial bloodline creatures, once he transforms, with his spiritual will and his realm of control, they are all life forms on par with the early stages of Divine Emperor level. From now on, if I want a stronger body, I will need to contemplate it myself. Formless and intangible can no longer help me. Luo Feng understood this. The Heaven and Earth Avatar among the 5 avatars. With an intention from Luo Feng, an avatar appeared. This avatar dressed simply, appearing very ordinary, but in an instant, it dispersed like mist, spreading across billions of kilometers in an instant, vastly exceeding the scope of Huyang City. The Heaven and Earth Avatar. This avatar possessed the innate, body-melding heaven and earth, able to integrate into the heaven and earth operation law, even leveraging the heaven and earth operation law to amplify a fraction of force into hundreds or thousands of times greater. Innate secret treasure Palm World. Rise. At this moment, Luo Feng fully activated this innate secret treasure. Rumbling tilde. To the astonishment of countless citizens within Huyang City, the entire city began to lift from the ground, slowly ascending, and all the while, the city trembled continuously. What's going on? What happened? Many cultivators flew high above, looking towards outside Huyang City, able to see giant mountains in all directions emitting light. Originally ordinary winding ranges were turning into huge fluffy claws. 5 mountain ranges were merely the tips of the sharp claws of the massive paw. An even more colossal part was emerging from the ground. As for the palm of the gigantic claw, it was supporting and elevating the entire Huyang City. Master Moyu Qingyang, Xinyu, and the others were shocked. Luo Feng. Di Yuan also felt that the commotion was too great. The aura of the humongous paw seemed even more terrifying than Mount Lei Tang. This claw is a secret treasure, which I am currently operating, Luo Feng conveyed through spiritual transmission, calming down the higher-ups of the Blade River sect and simultaneously shocking them with Luo He God King's terrifying prowess. This supergigantic fluffy paw spanned billions of kilometers. 2/3 of it had emerged above the ground, still with some parts below. The solid palm was supporting Huyang City. Huyang City was now approximately 80 trillion kilometers above the ground, hovering over the gigantic palm. Palm World is indeed profound. This was the first time Luo Feng executed it fully, without any restraint, able to feel the wonder of Palm World. It really was a complete world, entirely isolated from the outside. Even causality was isolated. This was even more fearsome than Mount Lei Tang. Heaven and Earth Avatar, merge with Palm World. With a thought from Luo Feng. The Heaven and Earth Avatar began to merge with Palm World, without conflict as Luo Feng was in control of this innate secret treasure. Once fully merged. At this moment, Luo Feng's Heaven and Earth Avatar became one with Palm World, feeling the operation of the world inside Palm World. This gave Luo Feng another perspective for contemplation. The galaxy turns out to be Luo He, ha ha. Emperor Qing's laughter echoed from afar. Galaxy brother, you've indeed kept a formidable secret. Such a great commotion had long disturbed the entire land of origin, drawing the gaze of many powerful beings. Luo Feng's heaven and earth avatar is a life form at the early stage of the divine emperor. During the fusion process of the heaven and earth avatar with the secret treasure palm world, some of the most powerful beings on the land of origin could still catch glimpses of certain information. A stranger at the early stage of the divine emperor. Such a powerful secret treasure. Who else could it be but the galaxy ruler? There's no way the land of origin could produce two beings at the early stage of the divine emperor back to back. Ha ha ha, I still couldn't fool brother Emperor Qing. Luo Feng stood on one of the towering mountain peaks formed by the huge furry paw, revealing his true self with the mask disappearing. Who? Emperor Qing also arrived at this mountain peak, laughing. Such a powerful avatar. Such a powerful secret treasure. Who else could it be but Brother Galaxy? Is this an innate secret treasure? Emperor Qing stood on the mountaintop, looking at the gigantic furry paw in amazement. This innate secret treasure is extraordinarily valuable. Placed in the infinite space treasure vault, it's probably worth 30 to 40,000 reward points. Luo Feng nodded. Based on his long-term research, while the secret patterns contained within this innate secret treasure are a bit inferior to special life remnants, it is still a secret treasure after all. Obtained from the dream domain? Emperor Qing asked. Yes. Luo Feng nodded. In all my cultivation till now, this is the only innate secret treasure I've obtained. I've been cultivating longer than you, and have explored both the dream domain and the heavenly pillar realm for a long time, yet only managed to obtain 2 innate secret treasures in total. Emperor Qing laughed, and from my perspective, its value should be close to that of a special life remnant. Luo Feng smiled. It seems you're not planning to take this innate secret treasure out. Emperor Qing observed the scene before him. The vast palm world formed by the innate secret treasure was shielding Huyang City. Luo Feng nodded, not taking it out. This Huyang City can be considered the safest place on the land of origin. Emperor Qing commented, its isolation of causality is so formidable that even I cannot ascertain anything. With the help of the Eye of Life and Death, Luo Feng could discern the causal links between the creatures within Huyang City in the palm world and those in the outside world. But no other methods could probe it. Hoo. 2 more figures approached side by side. They were the Thunder Ancestor and the primogenitor Yang Feng. What an innate secret treasure. Primogenitor Yang Feng observed. It should be the paw of a high-level primordial life, nurtured for countless ages inside a world-level primordial life from the dream domain, forming such an innate secret treasure. Its value is comparable to a special life remnant. Primogenitor Yang Feng, you could tell this. Luo Feng was surprised. Having lived in this source world for several eras, I've seen my fair share of special life remnants and innate secret treasures. Primogenitor Yang Feng laughed. I've also heard similar rumors outside the source world. Naturally, I could deduce as much. The Thunder Ancestor, gazing at the furry paw, couldn't help but say, Galaxy, are you planning to sell this innate secret treasure? I can get you something suitable, a heritage that directly points towards the half-primordial level enlightened. Directly pointing to half-primordial heritage. Emperor Qing was somewhat surprised from the side, knowing well that heritage below the divine emperor level is common, but one reaching the half-primordial level enlightened is much more costly. Not selling. Luo Feng shook his head. When you plan to sell, feel free to contact me anytime. The Thunder Ancestor was patient. Having lived long, he clearly understood the magic of time. In the vast passage of time, a cultivator might change their mind easily, in the future, under environmental influences, this Luo he might very well decide to sell the treasure. Luo Feng looked into the distance and found that the East Extreme Domain ancestor, Feng Shi, had also arrived. The godly emperors of the land of origin are all gathered here today. Luo Feng smiled. This is indeed an honor for me, Luo He. With a wave of his hand, Luo Feng conjured a cave mansion, tables, chairs, and had fine wines and fruits ready. Please, everyone, have a seat. Immediately, Luo Feng, the two primogenitors, Emperor Qing, and the East Extreme Domain ancestor, in total 5 people, sat down. These were the 5 most powerful beings on the land of origin. I've been guessing who the galaxy ruler truly is. I once speculated it might be Luo He, but Luo He is too young, I couldn't believe it. The East Extreme Domain ancestor laughed. Who knew it was indeed Luo He? Luo He. Primogenitor Yang Feng couldn't help but ask, are you a reincarnator, or did you truly cultivate to such a level within just over 1,000 epochs? Looking at the cultivation paths and secret techniques of historical powerhouses on the land of origin, none match Luo He, so it's likely not reincarnation. The East Extreme Domain ancestor shook his head. But the Thunder ancestor laughed and said, perhaps a powerful being from another source world, reincarnated here. While speaking, both primogenitor Yang Feng and the Thunder ancestor looked at Luo Feng. A powerful being from another source world, reincarnated here. Luo Feng was surprised. Has this happened on the land of origin before? From the infinite space treasure vault, Luo Feng knew that there is a way to reincarnate into another source world. Not on the land of origin. Primogenitor Yang Feng laughed. But we've heard plenty in our journeys outside the source world. If you're not a reincarnator. The Thunder ancestor couldn't help but say, Luo He should have gone through the cycle of rebirth to arrive at the land of origin, arriving first at Huyang City, being here for around 1,500 epochs. You've reached such heights. Such a short time, such strength, truly terrifying. Emperor Qing also marveled at Luo Feng. The two primogenitors, Emperor Qing, and the East Extreme Domain ancestor all felt that if indeed one cultivated to such strength in a short time, the growth speed would be terrifying indeed. If it were an old monster from another source world reincarnated, it'd still be understandable. Ha ha ha. Luo Feng laughed heartily. Just consider me as a reincarnator then. He was unwilling to explain or prove anything. Achieving such achievements in such a short time means that among the many source worlds, among countless worlds, one would be among the very top few. At this moment, the primogenitors and the rest faintly felt, this Luo He might truly have achieved this through brief cultivation. That feeling left them deeply shocked. Such talent. Such potential. At this moment, on the land of origin, the emperors and monarchs, as well as numerous godly kings, were speculating about the events of Huyang City. They implicitly guessed at a certain possibility. Emperor Yang, Emperor Shi, and Emperor Wu gathered together. The true identity of the galaxy ruler is, 9 times out of 10, that Luo He. Emperor Yang sat restlessly on the throne, his huge fiery wings drooping, his slender scale-armored tail swaying somewhat uneasily, while the flames on his body surged and twisted. Are you that worried? Emperor Wu said. Just possessing a powerful secret treasure in the Huyang City area proves the galaxy ruler is Luo He. Sister Wu, didn't you see the power of that secret treasure? It has already reached the maximum potential of the land of origin. Emperor Yang urged anxiously. It even isolates causality more strongly than Mount Leitang. I can't sense any life within Huyang City at all. Emperor Shi, beside him, also nodded coldly, considering isolation of causality on the land of origin. Mount Leitang ranked first before, also known as the primary holy land. Now, the isolation effect of Huyang City surpasses it. Treasures, too, depend on the wielder. Emperor Yang said, like Gui Shu, giving them powerful secret treasures, they wouldn't be able to bring out much power. Yet the power of that supersized paw, the owner of this secret treasure, must surpass us in strength. An unprecedented powerful presence suddenly emerging on the land of origin, along with such a powerful secret treasure. Who else but the galaxy ruler? Emperor Yang pressed urgently, and those 5 interconnected mountain ranges have surrounded Huyang City for hundreds of epochs. Considering the rise speed of that Luo He. Considering how the former galaxy ruler killed the 3 kings of Sha Kingdom. Yet the territory fell into Luo He's hands. The galaxy ruler detests evil, and upon closely examining Luo He's growth experiences, he also detests evil. Emperor Yang anxiously added, combining everything, 9 times out of 10, Luo He is the galaxy ruler. As the first emperor of the flame-wind ancient country, Emperor Yang could even unite 2 emperors, making their faction the strongest among many emperors of the flame-wind ancient country. Emperor Yang's vision was naturally sharp. He had long recognized Luo Feng's potential, and wanted to suppress it a bit. Yet, he never expected Luo Feng's growth to be so terrifying. Even if he is the galaxy ruler, what can he do? We haven't massively plundered countless creatures. Emperor, she said indifferently, we don't share any major grudges with him. Emperor Wu, you have a major grudge with Emperor Chu. Emperor Yang pointed out. We haven't killed any tribespeople of Luo He, nor any sect disciples. Emperor Wu retorted, as for the feud with Emperor Chu is still doing well, while I lost 2 children. I'm the one who suffered more. We are ultimately emperors of the flame-wind ancient country royal family, and the ancestor is benevolent. As long as it's not a monumental fault, they will protect us. Emperor, she remarked to Emperor Yang, I understand your intention, you want to leave the land of origin. Emperor Yang looked at his wife, don't let others decide your fate. After determining that Luo He was likely the galaxy ruler, Emperor Yang had already decided. I don't want to go. Emperor, she shook her head, I've heard, outside the source world, beings like us with only ultimate realm life forms are the weakest, the lowest tier. I'd rather linger on the land of origin for tens of billions of epochs than go outside. Emperor Yang did not continue persuading. If, when the land of origin approached extinction, he took Emperor Shi away, she would surely be willing. But there were still tens of billions of epochs left. That's a long, long time, so it was indeed normal for Emperor Shi not to wish to leave. Elsewhere, Emperor Chu looked distantly towards the direction of Huyang City, where the supersized furry paw cradling Huyang City had a presence much more terrifying than that of Mount Leitang. To wield such a secret treasure, and even reveal it openly without fear of being plundered by the primogenitors, actively displaying it. Emperor Chu pondered, it should be the galaxy ruler. To show such methods and reveal such a powerful secret treasure purely to protect Huyang City. The emperors were not foolish. With Luo Feng's display in Huyang City this time, combined with traces from the past, it was easy for everyone to speculate a common guess. Perhaps Luo He is